The stars were silent. Space stretched like a black ocean, endless and cold. In that darkness, an alien fleet gathered, their ships shining like sharp blades against the void. Hundreds of warships floated in formation, weapons ready, engines. Burning dot inside the flagship of the alien fleet, their commander laughed. His voice echoed through the control room. They send only one human ship against us. One? This is not war. This is comedy. The crew joined in his laughter. Their screens showed the human warship alone, silent, floating in the distance. It looked small compared to the massive alien fleet, its surface dark, its design old. To the aliens, it was nothing but an ancient relic. Humans are weak, another officer sneered. They always hide behind words of peace. They do not understand war, yet not all were convinced. A young alien pilot whispered, almost to himself, "Then why does it feel like that ship is watching us?" The others ignored him, the human. Warship did not move. It did not fire. It only waited. Lights along its hull remained dim, as if it were asleep. But there was something about its shape, something sharp, something dangerous. It felt less like a ship, and more like a predator waiting in silence. "Commander," one of the alien tacticians said nervously, "our scans cannot read its weapons. No heat signatures. No shield patterns. Nothing." "Exactly," the commander grinned. "Because it has nothing. Fire the first volley. Let us end this farce." Orders rang out. Alien weapons charged, and soon, the black space was filled with streaks of light. Missiles, plasma bolts, energy beams, all of it rained down on the lone human ship. Explosions lit the void. Fire surrounded the target, and for a moment, aliens cheered. "It is over," the commander declared. The humans should never have dared. But when the flames cleared, the cheers died. The human warship was still there. Not a single scratch on its hull. It floated silently, as if nothing had happened. "What?" The commander whispered, his eyes wide. "Impossible." One officer stammered, "Our weapons, they had no effect." Fear spread like a cold wind through the alien fleet. Ships that had never known defeat were now facing something unknown. Something that defied reason. On the human ship, silence ended. A low hum began to rise, a vibration deep in its core. Its engines glowed faintly, a blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. Across the alien screens, warnings flared red. "Energy spike detected." The commander clenched his teeth. "So it fights." "Back. Good, let them try." The human warship spoke for the first time. A voice, mechanical yet human, echoed across every alien channel. "You should not have come here." The words were calm, almost quiet, yet they carried weight like thunder. Every alien in the fleet felt the chill. "Arrogant words," the commander shouted, trying to hide his fear. "You are one ship against hundreds." The human warship finally moved. Its cannons extended, glowing with unfamiliar energy. With one silent flash, a beam shot across space. The aliens watched in disbelief as 3 of their warships exploded. Instantly, their debris scattering like broken glass, gasps filled the alien command bridge. "One shot." The young pilot whispered. "One shot destroyed 3 ships." The commander's face turned pale, but he forced himself to laugh. "A lucky strike. Fire everything, now." The alien fleet unleashed chaos. Hundreds of weapons fired at once. The void filled with blinding light. Yet through the storm, the human ship glided forward, untouched, unstoppable. Each alien shot was wasted, and each human response was a deadly dot boom. Another alien ship gone. Boom. 2 more dot in minutes. What was? Once laughter turned into panic. "Commander, they are cutting through us like paper. Our shields are useless. We cannot fight this." The commander slammed his fist on the control panel. "No, we are the strongest empire in this galaxy. We cannot fall to a single human ship." But deep inside, even he felt it, The truth that his fleet was no match. The human voice returned, calm and cold. You called us weak. You laughed at us. Now you will remember. And then, with terrifying grace, the warship's main cannon charged again. The blue glow grew brighter. The hum louder. Every alien screen screamed warnings. The young pilot whispered in terror. We should retreat. We never should have challenged them. But it was too late. A second blast tore through the alien fleet, shattering ships like glass. The commander watched in horror as his proud armada was erased before his eyes. Silence returned to space. Wreckage floated where once a mighty fleet had stood. The human warship remained, untouched, still and quiet once more. On every surviving alien channel, fear whispered the same words. Do not provoke the humans. The warship turned slowly, drifting back into the shadows of space. No celebration, no mercy, no sound. Only a reminder that humans were not to be underestimated. The battlefield burned with broken metal. Alien ships drifted as ruins, their fires fading into the endless black of space. The once proud fleet that had laughed at humans now stared at a single warship that had erased dozens of them in moments. Inside the alien flagship, silence was heavy. The crew's eyes darted across their screens, hands shaking. Nobody dared to speak. Finally, the commander broke the silence, his voice low and furious. Do not stop. Fire again. I want every weapon targeting that human ship. Commander, one officer whispered, his face pale. Half our fleet is gone. Our weapons did nothing. The commander glared at him. We are not cowards. This is just one human ship. Do you understand? One. They cannot defeat us all. But the words sounded hollow. Even the commander's voice shook. The human warship floated in the distance, calm and motionless. Its guns retracted. Its lights dimmed once more. It looked as if it were sleeping again, waiting. That silence was worse than any battle. The young alien pilot spoke quietly. It does not fight like us. It does not fight like anyone. It strikes once, then waits, like it knows we will come to it. The commander slammed his fist down. Enough! Humans are primitive. They cannot have built such power. This ship must be a trick, some hidden technology. They are bluffing. And I will prove it. He stood tall, raising his voice for the whole crew to hear. Listen to me. If we retreat today, the galaxy will laugh at us. They will call us cowards, beaten by a single ship. But if we destroy it, we will be legends. Some officers cheered weakly, forcing confidence they did not feel. The commander nodded, satisfied. Good, then prepare the swarm attack. We will crush them under numbers. Even the strongest ship cannot stop us all. Orders flew across the fleet. Hundreds of alien fighters launched, tiny darts of light racing across the void. Larger warships adjusted formation, circling the human vessel like predators around prey. Close in. Surround it, the commander ordered. Do not give. It's space to breathe. The alien swarm approached, filling every angle, every side. Their weapons glowed, their speed unmatched. The human warship was trapped. This is it, one alien officer said. They cannot stop all of us. But the human ship still did not move. Then in the silence of space, its engines flared to life. Blue light spread across its hull like veins of fire. Panels unfolded, revealing weapons no alien had ever seen before. Strange cannons, sharp wings that glowed with energy, and a central core burning brighter and brighter. The crew of the alien flagship watched in terror. What is that? The pilot whispered. The commander forced a laugh. It is desperate. Fire before it finishes charging. The swarm obeyed. Thousands of shots blazed forward, missiles streaking, plasma bolts raining. Space shook with violence. And then something impossible happened. The human warship did not dodge. It did not shield itself. Instead, A pulse of blue light expanded from its core, spreading outward in every direction. The alien weapons dissolved into sparks before reaching the hull. Missiles vanished, beams broke apart, and the swarm's attack simply disappeared. Gasps filled the alien command deck. Our weapons canceled out, one officer stammered, as if they never existed. The commander's mouth went dry. No, it cannot be. Then the human ship spoke again. Its voice was cold, steady, unshaken. You surround us, but it is you who are surrounded by your arrogance. The glow reached its peak. In an instant, the warship unleashed a storm. Dozens of beams shot outward in every direction, each strike exact, each blast destroying an alien fighter. Explosions bloomed across the battlefield like fireworks, hundreds gone in seconds. The pilot screamed, "They are killing us faster than we can fire." The commander's mask of pride began to crack. His hands shook on the console. "Pull the fleet closer. We must overwhelm it." But closer only meant death. Each time the alien warships advanced, the human vessel answered with impossible precision. Every blast found its target. Every strike ripped through shields that should have been unbreakable. One officer cried out, "This ship, it knows where to strike. It knows us better than we know ourselves." The commander's fury turned to desperation. No, it cannot be unbeatable. There must be a weakness. Yet deep inside, he already knew the truth. This was not a normal human ship. It was something more. Something built for war in ways the galaxy had never seen. The young pilot's voice trembled. "Commander, if we stay, we will all die." The commander turned sharply, eyes blazing. "You dare suggest retreat?" "Yes." The pilot whispered, "For the first time in our history, we must fear the humans." The words struck the bridge like a blade. The crew shifted uncomfortably, but none spoke against it. Fear had already taken root. Out in the void, the human ship slowed its fire. It had already torn through half of what remained. Yet it did not chase the survivors. It waited, silent again, daring them to continue. The commander clenched his jaw. His pride screamed for battle, but his survival instinct screamed louder. He lowered his head, signaled the fleet, "Pull back." The orders spread quickly. Alien warships turned, engines burning as they began to retreat. The swarm scattered, leaving behind the wreckage of their fallen dot as the alien fleet limped away. The human warship remained motionless, watching. Its lights dimmed once more, its silence heavy and terrifying. No words followed them, no final shot. Just a silent reminder. They had been spared, but not forgiven. The young pilot spoke the thought. Everyone shared. They wanted to prove humans weak, but today, we learned the truth. They are stronger than all of us. And across the fleet, fear replaced arrogance. From that day forward, the memory of one silent warship haunted every alien who had seen it, a nightmare that whispered through the stars, "Do not challenge the humans." The alien fleet limped back, broken and scattered. Smoke and fire drifted in the void, the wreckage of hundreds of ships floating like silent tombstones. Yet, the human warship had not moved far. It hovered calmly in the battlefield, its hull glowing faintly, as if it had not even tried yet. On the alien flagship, fear hung heavy in the air. Officers whispered to each other, their voices trembling. "They destroyed half our fleet in minutes. No weapon works on them. No shield can hold against their fire." The commander stood rigid at the center of the bridge, his fists clenched. His pride burned like fire in his chest, but his face was pale. "We are not finished," he growled. "Not yet." The young pilot who had warned them earlier turned to him, voice shaking. "Commander, we cannot fight them. We will be destroyed." The commander snapped back. "And what will you have us do? Run? Hide? Tell the galaxy that one human ship crushed us? No, we must show strength, or we are already dead." Silence fell again. None of the crew wanted to admit it, but the commander was right. Their empire thrived on fear, on respect. If they fled completely, they would be hunted by their rivals. Yet, if they fought again, the human ship could wipe them out. Then, the human warship moved. The bridge shook as alarms flared. Screens lit up red, and every sensor screamed warnings. It's coming closer. One officer shouted that the commander's eyes widened. No, it's advancing. The alien fleet scrambled to form a defensive wall. Dozens of ships turned their weapons forward, shields at maximum, engines burning. Fighters swarmed out, tiny sparks of light against the darkness, trying to block the path. The human ship glided forward, slow but unstoppable. Like a predator walking into a cage, it knew it could break. Its guns began to extend, glowing brighter than before. One officer whispered, "It is not waiting anymore. It is hunting." The first blast came like thunder. A massive beam shot out, slicing through 3 alien ships in a single strike. They exploded in silence, fire blooming in the black void. Panic swept across the alien fleet. "Return fire, everything we have." The commander roared. Lasers, plasma bolts, missiles, every weapon in the alien arsenal filled the darkness. The entire fleet's firepower converged on one target. For a moment, the space between stars burned bright. When the light cleared, the human warship was still moving forward, untouched. Its shields glowed faintly, absorbing everything like water against stone. This is impossible," an officer whispered, his hands shaking. Then, the human ship fired again. This time, it was not just one cannon. Multiple beams erupted at once, each one striking a different target. Explosions scattered across the battlefield, alien warships torn apart in seconds. The young pilot's voice cracked. "It knows where to hit us. Every shot. It's perfect. It doesn't miss." The commander's pride finally shattered. He could no longer hide the fear in his voice. How can one ship do this? How? As if answering his question, the human ship's voice spread across their channels again. "Calm, steady, merciless. You thought numbers made you strong. But numbers mean nothing if you do not understand war." The crew froze. The voice was not loud, but it carried the weight of truth, the weight of death. Then the ship unleashed its full power. Missiles shot out like a storm, faster than any alien could track. Each one curved and twisted, chasing targets with deadly precision. Alien fighters exploded in waves, vanishing like sparks in the wind. The warship's cannons fired in rhythm, one after another, each shot a death sentence. A destroyer tried to block the path, but a single blast split it clean in half. Cruisers fell in fire. Battleships cracked apart like glass. Within minutes, another third of the alien fleet was gone. On the bridge, officers shouted over each other. "We cannot stop them. Our fleet is collapsing. They are tearing through us like paper." The commander's eyes darted across the battlefield, watching everything he had built, everything he commanded, be destroyed by a single enemy ship. His voice broke. "This is not war. This is slaughter." The young pilot whispered, "No, this is punishment." Outside, the human ship slowed, drifting through the battlefield. It did not rush. It did not panic. Every movement was deliberate, controlled. It was not fighting for survival, it was delivering a message. The alien fleet, once proud and arrogant, was reduced to chaos. Ships crashed into each other trying to flee. Fighters scattered in every direction, their formations broken. No order remained, and still, the human warship spoke again, its voice cold and final. "You wanted to test us. You wanted to laugh at us. Now you will learn why the galaxy should fear the humans." The commander fell silent, staring at the screen, as another wave of explosions tore through what was left of his fleet. For the first time in his life, he felt powerless. The young pilot finally said the words no one else dared. "We cannot win. We must escape, or none of us will live." The commander did not argue this time. His pride was gone. His empire's pride was gone. All that remained was survival. "Signal retreat," he whispered. The order went out, and the few surviving ships turned and fled, engines burning as they escaped into the stars. The human warship did not chase. It did not need to. The silence it left behind was louder than any weapon. In the dark void, surrounded by wreckage and fire, one truth was clear. The humans had not just defended themselves. They had counterattacked with power beyond imagination, and the galaxy would never forget it. The battlefield was no longer a war zone, it was a graveyard. Alien wreckage floated in silence, flames fading into cold shadows. The human warship drifted calmly among the ruins, like a predator that had barely broken a sweat. On the alien flagship, chaos consumed the crew. Officers shouted, alarms wailed, screens glowed red with constant warnings. "They are destroying everything." One cried, "Our fleet is collapsing, we cannot hold formation." Another screamed. The commander's face was pale, but his pride fought against the truth. He gripped the console tightly, his voice trembling but firm. "We are not finished. They will not defeat the Empire. Signal every remaining ship. We attack with everything. This is our last stand." The young pilot stared at him in disbelief. "Commander, that is suicide. We should retreat while we still can." The commander's eyes burned. Retreat? And tell the galaxy that the strongest fleet was destroyed by one human ship? "No, we fight until the last ship. If we must fall, we will fall as warriors." The bridge fell silent. None of the officers wanted to admit their fear, but the commander's words forced them into obedience. Orders spread quickly. Across the stars, what remained of the alien fleet gathered. Massive cruisers and battleships formed into a single line, smaller ships surrounding them. Fighters swarmed like angry bees, filling every corner of space. It was not a strategy, it was desperation. On their screens, the human warship still floated silently. Its weapons powered down, its lights faint. It looked almost peaceful, as if daring the aliens to try again. The commander pointed at it, rage in his voice. "Do you see? They mock us. They believe they cannot be touched. We will show them we are not weak. We will bury them under fire." The fleet charged. Engines roared, weapons glowed, and a storm of energy filled the void. Thousands of bolts of plasma, missiles, and beams rained down toward the lone ship. The stars disappeared behind the wall of fire. The young pilot clenched his fists, whispering, "It won't matter. None of it will matter." And he was right. The human ship came alive. Its hull glowed with a blue pulse, shields burning brighter than before. The storm of alien weapons crashed against it and vanished, absorbed as if space itself swallowed them whole. Then the counterattack began. From the human vessel, dozens of weapons unfolded, shining with strange energy. Beams cut through battleships like they were made of glass. Missiles streaked out, curving perfectly toward their targets, striking engines and reactors with deadly precision. Alien fighters exploded in clusters, hundreds gone in seconds. One officer screamed, "Our numbers mean nothing. They are carving through us." The commander slammed the console, shouting above the chaos, "Do not break. Hold the line. We will overwhelm them." But the line was already breaking. Warships twisted in fire, shields shattered, hulls split apart. Ships crashed into each other in confusion, their formations destroyed. The human warship moved through them slowly, calmly, like a predator walking through a herd of prey. The crew on the flagship watched in horror as their allies vanished one by one. The young pilot whispered, voice shaking, "They are not fighting for survival. They are fighting to send a message." Suddenly, the human ship's central core began to glow brighter, brighter than any weapon they had seen so far. Blue light spread across its body, pulsing like a heartbeat. Every alien screen screamed new warnings. Energy surge detected. It's charging something massive. The commander's eyes widened. Stop it! Stop it now! The fleet focused. Fire, but it was useless. The human ship ignored their desperate strikes. The light reached its peak, and then a shockwave erupted. A massive pulse of energy expanded outward, sweeping across the battlefield. Alien ships caught in its path convulsed, their systems failing instantly. Engines died, shields collapsed. Weapons went dark. Dozens of warships drifted helplessly, powerless, before being torn apart by follow-up blasts. The bridge crew screamed as they watched. They disabled entire fleets with one strike. This is not war. It's domination. The commander's voice finally cracked. How can one ship hold such power? How can humans do this? The young pilot turned slowly, fear in his eyes. Commander, this is no ordinary ship. This is something ancient. Something they kept hidden until today. The commander's pride collapsed into despair. His empire's strongest fleet was gone, and the human warship still looked untouchable. He lowered his head, his voice barely a whisper. Then we are finished. The human ship's voice echoed again, calm and merciless. You believed your empire ruled the stars. But today, you learned the truth. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity does not forget. The words froze every alien heart. The voice was not shouting, not angry. It was worse. It was certain. The battlefield fell into silence once more. Fires burned on the husks of alien ships, and only a handful remained alive to witness what had happened. The mighty empire, undefeated, for centuries, had been broken by one warship. The commander stared at the screen with empty eyes. He whispered, almost to himself, "The galaxy will never believe this. They will never believe what one ship did." The young pilot answered softly, "They will believe. Because we were here, because we saw, and now. The galaxy will fear the humans." The human warship turned slowly, drifting back into the black void. It did not chase the survivors. It did not need to. The silence it left behind was more terrifying than fire. For the first time in their proud history, the alien empire understood what true fear was, and that fear had only one name: humanity. The battlefield was filled with wreckage and silence. The once proud alien fleet now floated in pieces, broken and burning. Yet, even in their defeat, the survivors clung to hope. A few dozen warships remained, their weapons still online, their commanders still desperate. Inside the alien flagship, the commander stood frozen, staring at the screen. His fleet had been unstoppable once, feared across the stars. Now one human warship had destroyed most of it. His voice was low, filled with disbelief. This cannot be real. No power should exist like this. The young pilot, who had warned them from the beginning, spoke quietly. "It is real, and it is not finished yet." The commander clenched his teeth. His pride was gone, but something darker took its place, fear mixed with desperation. He turned sharply to his crew. "Signal the survivors. We are not beaten yet. We still have numbers. We will throw everything at them. If we fall together." Officers hesitated, but no one argued. Orders spread across the fleet, and slowly, the remaining warships formed a circle around the human vessel. Dozens of ships, weapons charged, ready to sacrifice themselves. "They cannot escape," one officer said, forcing courage into his trembling voice. "This time, we will crush them." But even as he spoke, his words rang hollow. The human warship floated silently, lights dim, weapons lowered. It looked motionless, harmless even. But everyone who had seen it fight knew the truth. The young pilot whispered, "It is waiting. It always waits. And then it strikes." The commander raised his hand. "Fire everything." The fleet obeyed. Plasma, missiles, beams of light, The void erupted in fire as every alien weapon converged on the lone human ship. The barrage was endless, shaking the stars themselves. For a moment, the crew on the flagship dared to hope. But then, when the light cleared, their hope shattered. The human warship was still there, unmoved, untouched. A cold voice echoed across the comms, the same voice that had haunted them since the battle began. You think numbers will save you. But numbers are meaningless against truth. The commander's hands trembled. Truth? He hissed. What truth? The human voice answered, calm and merciless. The truth is, you were never prepared for us. And then, for the first time, the human ship revealed its true weapon. Its central core began to glow brighter than ever before, light spreading across the hull like veins of fire. Panels shifted, hidden ports opening to reveal a massive structure. Beneath the surface, it was not just a cannon. It was something far greater. The alien officers stared in horror. What is it doing? Energy levels are beyond measurable range. The glow became blinding. The warship's voice returned. This was not built to fight battles. This was built to end them. The pulse fired. A wave of pure energy erupted from the ship, expanding outward in every direction. It was silent, but unstoppable. Alien warships caught in its path convulsed. Shields shattered instantly. Weapons shut down. Engines died. One by one, they went dark, powerless in the void. The commander's crew screamed, "They are shutting us down. All systems failing. Our shields are gone. We cannot move." The flagship itself shook violently. Lights flickered, panels sparked. The commander grabbed the console, staring at the dead battlefield. His entire fleet was paralyzed, helpless, floating like prey before a predator. "This is not a weapon," he whispered in horror. "This is execution." But it was not over. The human ship's secondary cannons came alive. Dozens of precise beams shot out, targeting only vital systems. Alien ships exploded in waves, each shot perfectly placed. The battlefield turned into a storm of fire and silence. The young pilot stared at the screen, unable to look away. His voice broke. "They could kill us all in an instant. But they don't. They want us to watch." And indeed, the human ship did not fire at everything at once. It moved slowly, deliberately, destroying one ship at a time. It was showing them what true helplessness felt like. The commander's pride was gone. His voice cracked as he shouted, "Stop! Stop this! What do you want from us?" The voice answered coldly, "You wanted war. Now you will live with its memory. Tell your empire what you saw today. Tell them humanity is not weak. Tell them never to come again." The commander's eyes widened. The human ship was sparing them, not out of mercy, but as a warning. Around them, the last of the alien fleet was torn apart. Only the flagship remained, drifting powerless in the void. The young pilot whispered, "We should not be alive. They are letting us live." The commander lowered his head, shame and fear heavy in his chest. "No, they are letting us remember." The human warship slowly dimmed its lights. Its weapons folded back. The glow faded, and silence returned. Once more, it turned away, drifting back into the dark sea of stars, leaving only ruins behind. The surviving aliens sat in silence, the weight of their defeat crushing them. None spoke. None dared. Finally, the pilot broke the silence. "The galaxy will never forget this day. The humans. They are no longer prey. They are the hunters." The commander closed his eyes. For the first time in his life, he understood what true fear was. The Empire had mocked humanity, but now they would never dare again. And so the legend of the human warship was born, not just as a weapon, but as a warning that echoed through the galaxy. Do not challenge the humans. The alien flagship drifted silently through the void, broken but alive. Its crew sat in the dark, the taste of defeat heavy in their throats. No one dared to speak at first. Then slowly the young pilot whispered, "We survived." But only because they allowed it. The commander's fists clenched. His pride was ashes, his empire humiliated. Yet inside, he understood the truth. This was not survival, it was a message. "We must return," he said at last, his voice hollow. "The Empire must know what we saw." The damaged fleet limped back through the stars, carrying not victory, but a story. And when they reached the great halls of their empire, the leaders demanded answers. "Where is our fleet?" one elder roared. "Where is our glory? You took hundreds of ships to crush the humans, and you return with nothing." The commander bowed his head, shame pressing down like iron. "We faced something beyond war. One ship, a single human warship, it destroyed us." The council chamber erupted in disbelief, laughter, anger, denial. "Impossible," one shouted. "A trick," another claimed. No human could build such power. But the young pilot stepped forward. His voice shook, but his words were clear. "It was no trick. We saw it. We attacked with everything, and it did not even move. It revealed a weapon unlike anything we know. It ended the fleet with one strike." The elders fell silent. Doubt lingered, but fear began to creep in. One of them narrowed his eyes. "If this is true, then humanity is not prey. They are something else." The commander lifted his head. His eyes were dark, haunted. "They spared us. Not from mercy, from strategy. They want us to remember. They want us to spread their warning." For a long moment, no one spoke. The silence was heavier than any battle. Then another voice came, quiet and shaken. "If a single ship can do this, what happens when humanity builds a fleet?" The thought chilled the entire chamber. Far away, on distant colonies and trading routes, whispers spread like wildfire. The tale of the human warship reached smugglers, travelers, mercenaries, and rulers. Some laughed at first. Others listened closely. But the story grew, retold in bars, in markets, in the shadows of great cities. They say it destroyed 1,000 ships. They say it moved like a ghost. They say the humans never wanted war, but now no one dares fight them. Every retelling twisted the details, but one truth remained clear. The humans were no longer weak. They were no longer prey. Meanwhile, deep in the human territories, silence reigned. The warship returned quietly, its mission complete. No celebration. No announcements. The humans did not brag. They did not boast of victory. Instead, they remained silent, letting the galaxy's fear grow on its own. In a quiet hangar, 2 human officers stood near the massive ship, its surface still glowing faintly from battle. One of them, an older officer with tired eyes, spoke softly. "They will come again, won't they?" The other nodded. "Of course, fear does not last forever, but next time. They will not underestimate us." The older officer glanced at the warship. "Do you think they know what we're capable?" "OF." The second officer gave a thin smile. "They only saw one ship. They have no idea what we're building next." Far away, in the alien empire, the commander found no peace. Every night, he dreamed of the glowing ship, the pulse of energy, the helpless silence of his fleet. He would wake trembling, his chest heavy with fear. One night, the young pilot visited him. "They mock us," the pilot said quietly. "They say we ran from shadows. They say we invented lies to cover our failure." The commander stared at him, eyes burning. "Let them mock. They did not see what we saw. But when the humans decide to move again, the whole galaxy will see. And then no one will laugh." The pilot hesitated, then asked the question that haunted them both. "Why do you think they spared us? Why not end us all?" The commander closed his eyes. His voice was bitter. "Because death is simple. Fear lasts longer." The words spread. Again, whispered through soldiers, traitors, and spies. Fear lasts longer, the humans knew it. And now the galaxy knew it too. Months passed, then years. Yet the story of the warship did not fade. It became a legend, one told in hushed voices. Children of alien empires grew up hearing it. Soldiers whispered it before battles. Leaders discussed it in secret meetings. And every time a new conflict rose, someone would always say, "Be careful. Remember the humans." The galaxy had many empires, many armies, and countless wars. But in every shadow, the memory of one ship lingered, a ghost that haunted them all. Back on Earth, the warship rested quietly in orbit, silent as the stars. But inside its core, its heart still burned with power, waiting. And though no one outside humanity knew the truth, whispers within. The human ranks carried their own secret. The warship that terrified the galaxy was not the only one.